Hi, welcome to Think Human. I'm Chris, and in this video I want to talk about these fascinating agents or organisms that are between the border of dead and alive. So this what I'm talking about are viruses, coming from the Latin word virus, which means poison or noxious or toxic. Viruses come in all kind of different shapes and sizes, and they're profoundly strange things. They look like something more man-made or designed rather than something evolved by natural selection. They almost look like this kind of geometrical shapes. Regular viruses are in the range of about 1/100 the size of regular bacteria. And ever since they were discovered, people have been debating if these things are actually dead or alive, because they show characteristics of both, and things that are really common to life, viruses seem to absolutely lack. So one way how viruses are really similar to life everywhere else is that viruses carry within them genetic material like all other cells that life is made of, except viruses have absolutely no mechanism how they can replicate by themselves. So viruses always need a host in order to reproduce and make more copies of themselves. And how they do it is they have different kind of tools of how doing it, but essentially and viruses can infect every living organism that we know, from plants to mushrooms, from sea life to human beings to just regular mammals and insects. Everything, nothing is safe. So also when we look at regular life, life usually makes more of itself by cell division, by cells dividing, but viruses just self-assemble in whatever host they happen to be in. This is more akin to how organic molecules assembled themselves in the early life upon Earth. Viruses are responsible for chickenpox, influenza, Ebola, HIV, cold sore, SARS, pretty much every most terrific and horrible disease you can imagine viruses can bring to us. Now recently we have discovered ways of actually using the mechanisms of viruses for a more beneficial purpose, and this would be viral therapy, and this is essentially using the way this virus replicates by doing something good. And for instance, you can have some cure, some piece of DNA, some piece of RNA that you can put inside of this virus, and then this virus can just spread this good genetic material. And you can use viruses that way, by carrying out good genetic material instead of just damaging and self-replicating DNA. So this is just some ideas about viruses. There's really strange things that are in the border of life and death, like we can't really define them, and this is really strange to think about. Viruses are kind of creepy things. They don't fit into anything. They're like just these things in this world that's only purpose is to replicate themselves. They still follow natural selection and evolution, they can mutate and all of that, but they lack many of the main characteristics that makes life life. So the question is, what really are they? It might be our fault for classifying life in maybe too narrow of a sense. Maybe everything that has genetic material and can make more of itself should be considered life. Or if we want to make it interesting, we can keep viruses as these really strange things that just exist in this world. So these are just video about viruses. I think it's really interesting. I hope you got some interesting thoughts from it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave some comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.